Since 1976, just 12 men have taken that final walk in the Silver State. 12 souls who committed crimes so heinous that the state decided they needed to exit this world. Nevada's death chamber has seen them all, the remorseful, the defiant, the stoic, and yes, 11 of these guys basically volunteered, waiving their appeals and choosing death over life behind bars. Only one fought till the end. Let me tell you their stories one by one in the order they met their maker. Jesse Walter Bishop, October 22nd, 1979. Jesse Walter Bishop, 46 years old and a career criminal who'd started his life of crime at just 15, became the first man executed in Nevada after the Supreme Court restored the death penalty. Picture this: Bishop walks into the El Morocco casino on the Vegas Strip, pulls out a .38 revolver and demands cash from the female cashier. When two men try to intervene, including 22-year-old David Ballard, a newlywed mechanic from Baltimore who'd been married for only 3 hours, Bishop guns them down, killing Ballard with a shot to the back. For his last meal, Bishop dined like a king. Filet mignon cooked rare, tossed salad with Thousand Island dressing, asparagus, baked potato with sour cream, and dessert. He even sent his compliments to the chef. When execution time came, Bishop walked calmly into the gas chamber, gave a thumbs down sign when the cyanide pellets dropped, and met death face to face. His final words: "This is just one more step down the road of life that I've been heading for all my life." Bishop was the last person in Nevada to die by lethal gas. After him, the state switched to the needle. Carol Edward Cole. 6 years later, on December 6, 1985, Carol Edward Cole made history as the first person executed by lethal injection in Nevada. Cole was one seriously disturbed dude, a serial killer who admitted to murdering at least 13 women across multiple states. His childhood was a horror show of abuse, and by age 8, he'd already drowned a playmate who made fun of him. Cole landed on death row for strangling Marie Cushman in a Las Vegas bar in 1979, but he'd also been convicted of killing 3 other women in Dallas. His final meal consisted of jumbo fried shrimp, French fries, salad with French dressing, and Boston clam chowder. As for last words, Cole looked at a Las Vegas couple writing his biography and simply mouthed through the glass, "It's all right." William Thompson. Jump ahead to June 19, 1989. 51-year-old William Thompson was executed for killing a homeless man in Reno. Not much is publicly known about his last meal or final words, but Thompson, like most of the men executed in Nevada, waived his appeals and asked to die. Sean Flanagan. Just 4 days after Thompson's execution, on June 23, 1989, Sean Flanagan, only 27 years old, was executed by lethal injection. Flanagan had killed 2 men in Las Vegas, and court records indicate the murders were motivated by hatred of gay people. Like Thompson, details of his final meal and last words aren't widely documented, but he too chose to die rather than pursue appeals. Thomas Ball. Less than a year later, on June 3, 1990, Thomas Ball, just 26 years old, was executed for killing a bus driver during a Las Vegas robbery. Ball's case was notable because he not only wanted to die, but actively fought against his family's efforts to appeal his sentence. The specifics of his last meal and words remain obscure in public records. Richard Moran. After a 6-year break, Richard Moran, 42, was executed on March 31, 1996 for killing 2 people in a Las Vegas bar in 1984 while on a drug and alcohol binge. Here's the kicker. Moran was the only one of the 12 executed who didn't actively oppose legal efforts to save his life. Though he didn't fight to live, he didn't necessarily want to die either. He was just resigned. A psychiatrist who examined him wrote that his case presents a severe indictment to anyone who would argue about the deadly and addictive qualities of cocaine abuse. Before his crimes, Moran had been a bartender at the Bingo Palace but lost everything to his drug addiction. Richard Abeta. On October 5, 1998, Richard Abeta, 44, was executed for killing his ex-girlfriend while she slept. He shot her twice in the head while ransacking her home for drugs. Cold-blooded, right? Abeta opposed any last-minute legal efforts to stop his execution, choosing to face his punishment. Alvaro Calambro. The execution of 25-year-old Alvaro Calambro on April 5, 1999 created an international stir. A Filipino national, Calambro was put to death for the brutal 1994 murders of two U-Haul employees in Reno. One victim, Peggy Crawford, had a tire iron driven through her skull, while the other, Keith Christopher, had his head crushed by hammer blows. Damn. The Philippine government tried to intervene to stop the execution, arguing their rights under the Vienna Convention had been violated when they weren't immediately notified of his arrest. But Calambro himself refused to appeal. For his last meal, he ate steak, rice, corn, apple pie, and a Sprite. His final words, "I regret it." Sebastian Bridges. Fast forward to April 21, 2001, when Sebastian Bridges, 37, was executed for killing Hunter Blatchford in the desert outside Las Vegas in 1997. The victim had been romantically involved with Bridges' estranged wife. Though Bridges had refused to file appeals, at the very end, he completely lost it, sobbing and screaming, "I killed nobody, and you want to kill me like a dog?" Lawrence Colwell Jeter. Lawrence Colwell Jr., 35, was executed on March 26, 2004 for the 1994 strangling of 76-year-old Frank Rosenstock, a tourist from Florida. Colwell and his girlfriend lured the elderly victim to a hotel room at the Tropicana, where Colwell strangled him with a belt for just $91 and some credit cards, missing $300 the victim had hidden in a sock. For his last meal, Colwell requested pizza, a cheeseburger, fruit, and cola. During his execution, Colwell made no last statement, expressed no remorse, and showed almost no emotion. His eyes remained closed the entire time, never once looking at the witnesses. Terry Jess Dennis. On August 12, 2004, Terry Jess Dennis, 57, was executed for strangling Ilona Stramanis, a 51-year-old woman, in a Reno motel room in 1999. Dennis, who was homeless and unemployed at the time, had a long history of substance abuse and had attempted suicide as many as a dozen times over the years. His final meal was simple: 2 cheeseburgers and a Coke. When asked if he had any last words, Dennis said nothing. Darrell Linney Mack. The most recent execution in Nevada, and the only one of a black man since 1976, took place on April 26, 2006, when Darrell Linney Mack, 47, was put to death for the 1988 rape and murder of 55-year-old Betty Jane May in Reno. Mack's case was groundbreaking, as he was the first and only person in Nevada to be executed based solely on DNA evidence. The murder had gone unsolved for 12 years until DNA testing linked him to the crime. While awaiting execution, Mack converted to Islam and spent his final hours reading the Quran. His last meal was modest: a fish fillet sandwich, French fries, and a lemon-lime soft drink. His final words were, "Allah is great, Allah is great." And there you have it, the 12 men who faced Nevada's ultimate punishment since 1976. As of May 2025, no one else has joined their ranks in almost 19 years, though dozens remain on death row. Whether you think these men got what they deserved or believe no one should die at the hands of the state, one thing's for sure: they won't soon be forgotten.